This is Quinn Russ's informative speech, and these are his 6 audience members.
Greetings everyone, my name is Quinn Russ, and today I will be giving an informative speech regarding the legalization and debate regarding marijuana. More than 24 million Americans have smoked marijuana, and that is according to a researcher by the name of Schneider. That is 1 out of every 13 citizens. This is even without including the number of citizens who have used marijuana for strictly medical reasons. And the purpose of this presentation is to increase your knowledge about the debate over whether or not to legalize marijuana. Marijuana use is more prevalent now than it was before, and the chances of you meeting someone who has used it are high, so you can gain something from this speech by becoming informed about the arguments that are being made regarding its legalization. The marijuana conflict is in regard to the perceived advantages and or disadvantages of making the use of this drug a more acceptable or more accepted part of American culture. So I will discuss what marijuana is, what the trends are, and what the other arguments are regarding its legalization. And to start off, I will explain what marijuana is. According to a medical dictionary that I found, marijuana is defined as dried flowering tops of the pistillate plants of cannabis sativa from the family of Moraceae, containing isomeric tetrahydrocannabinols, or THC, cannabinol and cannabidiol. Now, what are the effects of marijuana? According to the drugabuse.gov website, as THC goes into the brain, it pushes the user to feel euphoric or high by acting on the brain's reward system, which is made up of regions that govern the response to pleasurable things such as sex and chocolate, as well as into most drugs of abuse. There's also an effect on the body, and drugabuse.gov goes on to say that within a few minutes after inhaling marijuana smoke, a person's heart rate increases and the bronchial passages relax and become enlarged, and blood vessels in the eyes expand, making the eyes look red. And next I will discuss mainstream marijuana trends surrounding this debate. Now, states with legalization of medical marijuana is something to take note of. 23 states and Washington, D.C. have legalized medical marijuana use, according to procon.org. Colorado Amendments 20 and 64. Colorado is one state that has stood out in the headlines after a majority of its November 2012 voters supported its most recent authorization of broader marijuana use. Now, Amendment 20 passed in 2000 and took effect in the following year, exempting patients with written documentation from their physicians from criminal sanctions, and that's according to colorado.gov. Now, Amendment 64 passed in 2012, mandating that there shall be an amendment to the Colorado Constitution concerning marijuana and in connection therewith, providing for the regulation of marijuana, permitting a person 21 years of age or older to consume or process limited amounts of marijuana, allowing licensed production facilities, retail stores, taxation, etc. And this was the first time non-medical marijuana use had been legalized in that state. That's also according to colorado.gov. Let's talk about some statistics. Now, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, or SAMHSA, publicly released the results from the 2012 National Survey on Drug Use and Health. The survey is of 70,000 Americans 12 years of age or older. And the relevant marijuana data are that 7.3% of Americans in 2012 confirmed marijuana use within the past month. This is an increase from 7% in 2011 and 6.2% in 2002. To go along with that, 12.1% of Americans surveyed in 2012 confirmed marijuana use within the past year. And this is an increase from 11.5% in 2011 and 11% in 2012. That's according to SAMHSA. Let's talk about increasing cases involving marijuana. According to a published report entitled Marijuana in the States in 2012, analysis and detailed data on marijuana use and arrests, which appears on the newly launched regulatingcannabis.com news website, police made an estimated 750,000 arrests for marijuana violations in 2012, a 110% increase in annual arrests since 1991. And finally, I will talk about some other arguments made in the marijuana legalization debate. Now, should states review their marijuana laws? North Carolina has always had an attitude divide toward recreational drug use, suggesting that tobacco is okay, but alcohol and other things not so much. Now, there's a researcher by the name of Park who states that now more attention is being concentrated on marijuana legalization. It is now legal to buy marijuana in Colorado and Washington State, and the New York Times recently even urged its national legalization. Even the so-called conservative North Carolina legislature took a step toward marijuana legalization by allowing patients with persistent seizures to be treated with cannabidiol extracted from hemp, as long as they qualify for pilot studies. The law allows selected universities in the state to grow marijuana for study. Now, why did North Carolina authorize a marijuana product? There has been a movement led by mothers and fathers in North Carolina to get legislation passed that would legalize cannabidiol, a strain of the marijuana plant believed to reduce seizures in epileptic children. That's also according to the researcher by the name of Park. State Representative Pat McElrath introduced legislation aimed at doing just that. And the bill allows the use of hemp oil for patients who suffer from intractable seizures. McElrath insists that the Hope for Haley and Friends bill does not legalize medical marijuana, but rather that this is only a medicine for these children so that they can develop motor skills. So, in conclusion, marijuana is a drug containing substances that cause noticeable changes in the body and the brain. Its usage has evolved from a little-known idea to an entirely taboo concept to a practice that is both controversial and legal in some places. Continued debate over the legalization of marijuana appears inevitable. So anyone can meet someone who has used marijuana. The more prevalently its legalization is carried out, the more prevalent its usage will be. So knowing about the nature, impacts, and outlook of the marijuana legalization debate can aid a person in developing an educated view of the perceived benefits and or consequences of its legalization. These are the references that I used to put this presentation together. I thank you for your time, and I hope you take an interest in learning more about this topic. Thank you.
And this concludes the presentation.